Hi everyone, I'm X Truffles, and today I'm here with elementmario222, who has made it all the way to the top 8 of the Dominion 2019 Online Championship, which is pretty amazing, so congratulations again. We're here to do an interview. The first question that I have for you is, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? So, where are you from, what you do?
Sure. I'm originally from the Midwest, but I spend most of my time now in New York, where I work in finance. I do split my time between like Chicago and New York. That's all I do.
Oh, cool. So your username is pretty unique, I think. It's elementmario222, and you have like a pretty cool like yin yang like water fire avatar.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what's the story behind that, if there is one?
When I was a kid, I used to lurk around on game facts or game FAQs, which is probably before a lot of people. I don't know. Maybe I'm showing my age here, but game fact used to be where everyone game guides and like participated in forums and stuff. So on that account, on that site, I had a bunch of usernames. My first was Water Mario 222, and then I switched to like Fire Mario 222, and then I created a ton of alts for some reason. And then eventually I those names to other sites, but I wouldn't need like 100 different accounts, so I just consolidated it into Elements.
Oh, nice. That's a pretty cool story.
Mario. Yeah, I actually, if you look at GameFAQs now, you can still see some of the reviews that I wrote for some of these really old games when I was like 10 years old. So
Aw,
it's kind of fun for me to read those reviews and see how my writing has improved or not
awesome.
over the years.
So speaking of games, how long have you been playing Dominion, and how did you discover the board game?
Dominion, I've been playing since college, I guess, but I haven't played too much. Like there was a period of time in college when I was playing with my roommates a lot, the board game nights thing, and it just ended up being one of our favorites. So we actually went online after we all graduated and kept playing through the online clients that we have now.
Oh,
And
cool.
I kind of wanted to keep playing with them. I wanted to play more, but they kind of moved on with their lives, and I kind of just kept playing Dominion.
Well,
So
it is a pretty good game.
yeah, it's okay.
So, what's your favorite and least favorite card in Dominion?
Oh, this is tough. I really enjoy playing with all of them. I honestly like I don't have like a ban list or anything because I think Dominion is just more fun when there's more variety.
Hmm.
And sometimes discovering these weird interactions with cards that are like weaker, pretty exciting. I think that's like my favorite part of Dominion, to be honest. Um, I would say my favorite card right now is Guild Hall,
Oh,
the
cool.
card, because I'm trying to get better at playing money boards, which I'm really bad at, and I think that card incentivizes me to play
Yeah, I
money stuff.
definitely, a lot of the times I'm definitely a lot more tempted to play like the engine than money because, I don't know, the engine is just a lot more fun to play.
Yeah, I mean, I agree for sure. I actually think engine boards are sometimes easier to play than money boards, but
Yeah.
um, and I think it's kind of like has an idea. Like I'll look at boards and I always assume an engine's gonna win. Even now, when I was spectating a match, I thought there was like one board where for sure engine should win, and then they both money, and I was super surprised. But looking back, maybe that was the way to go.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and my least favorite's probably Squire. I
Mm.
just don't like that card. It does too much and it does so little at the same time.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It's 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 it doesn't cost a lot, but there's like so many options that you can choose for it to do, and then it also has that like effect of like when you trash the card, you gain an attack for
Yeah,
it. So lots of things
yeah.
going on with just $2.
Copper. It's just a copper half the time. Let's be real. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like a necropolis copper weird. I don't know. Come on, it doesn't do anything.
yeah. So what do you find to be the most challenging card to play with in Dominion, and why?
This one I would say uh, I'm. This is recency bias here for me, but I played a match where championship where I did not know how to like encampment and plunder. These two cards are have always kind of vexed me because I'm just often not sure about whether it's worth hoarding encampments.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and sometimes I think like, oh, it's a single buy board, so maybe encampment isn't really the way to go. I don't even know if that's true, but that's sort of the feeling that I get. If you can't like buy encampments, and maybe it takes too long to like get all the encampments and the plunders, and especially on when you're playing with a board that might have a different engine available.
Yeah, I can
And I think,
definitely I can
yeah,
definitely see that. Sorry.
yeah, I just don't know when to pop those encampments because I like hoarding them, but then they're kind of just like dead cards in your hand if you don't. Like Madman and Hermit have. So I don't like. Well, it's not that I don't like it, but I think it's tough to play those two cards too, or Madman specifically, because I'm generally like a hoarder in life, so I can hold on to those Madmen and encampments. I would love to, but haven't
Yeah.
found the right balance between playing them and then like not playing.
Yeah, I can definitely see that because like I think when you play encampments or like madmans and stuff like that, is that you run into the risk of like either like giving up a little bit of your turn for like a bigger turn or like a more guaranteed like keep your encampment turn later on, or like kind of taking that risk, making your turn better than it is now. So I can definitely see that being a very challenging card. So speaking more on cards, what are your impressions on the new promo? So Church and Captain got released this year.
I like both cards. I definitely like both cards. I think honestly, I've read again some of the people we've interviewed already have kind of summarized the nuances of these two cards pretty well. I think Captain is of course very strong, and oftentimes you just auto click it when you hit six. Church is Church is Church is good for trashing sometimes, but I think it's often more important for the Haven type effect, for the spiking stuff, and then shuffles and stuff like that. So, as a trasher, it's fine, but it's a pretty cool card because it has these extra layers to it, and it's non-terminal, which is always cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I guess I always love playing with these new cards. So apparently there's a new expansion coming out soon, right? So
Yeah, I think so. I remember Donald posted somewhere that like there would be a new expansion released next year. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what kind of cards are inside. So speaking more on games, what has been the most memorable Dominion game you played so far? And it doesn't necessarily have to be from this championship.
yeah, so I don't have very good memory in general, so I
Okay.
remember the games that I just played like a week or two ago. I played Cha Shu in the last round, and this one game where I think it was the last game actually. I was playing with cultists. I had very nice draw and shuffles and all this stuff. I think I won the runes for like 8-2 or 9-1 or something. And then I did the thing where you like buy a lot of cards, anything with them, so you build like this. I think they call it like spinning or something when you don't really
Okay.
do anything. Yeah, and then Chashu almost beat me by rushing down the duchies and duchesses.
Oh wow.
I got really lucky to pull out that win, which is not saying too much for my ability to build a deck.
Yeah, sometimes it definitely feels that way, but I think you went 4-1 against Chashu, so still very
Uh,
impressive.
I think bleeding because you just get that's the thing about Dominion, right? You lucky in any given match, look very decisive, but it's just you had three lucky games and then suddenly you're up 3-0 or
Yeah.
something like that happens.
Yeah, I guess like it's like pretty important to actually look at the game sometimes because like the final score like sometimes is like very close and it's just like whoever can hit that last province, even though like the decks are pretty similar, but you just like keep hitting seven for for some reason. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think in every match I've played so far, I haven't actually outplayed my opponent. I think in every match I've gotten lucky on at least 2 or 3 games. So you play these tournaments and you have to realize that there's too much luck for you to actually be able to say anything about whether the winner is actually the best player ever.
Mm-hmm.
That the winner is a good player, but you can't make any decision as to whether this champion is actually
The best one,
like
right?
the best player. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But I think for you, like, it definitely takes some skill, and to make it at least to this point in the quarterfinals, it definitely takes quite a bit of skill. So make sure you don't discredit yourself.
All right, I'll take some credit.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good at this game. Okay, I'm good.
So,
Kind of.
other than yourself, so speaking of champions, other than yourself, who do you think will win the championship and why?
I would say that going by seeding is the easy answer, but like I said, everyone that's gotten to this point, and this is what you said too, but everyone that's gotten to this point is to win another 3 matches, and it's nowhere. I think I know you guys are playing. There's like this betting thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Don't believe that any particular match has a super strong favorite anymore. It's just much randomness that goes on. Like someone can just get lucky and then win 4-0, right? It just certainly could happen.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Like,
that being said, yeah.
oh, sorry, you can
Sorry,
continue.
I was saying that being said, I think I've played against pretty much everyone left at this point and paired against really any of them. So it's I think it's tough to say who might win, but actually J Nails, I really like. I've watched J Nails play a lot in ladder and stuff, and he's a dark horse. I think people are sleeping on him a little bit.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And going back to what you were saying about the betting thing, I've definitely looked at the odds, and some of them are like 2.5 to 1, or like even 2 to 1.
Worse.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
even 2 to 1 is like crazy odds for like players who have made it all the way to round like the
Right.
quarterfinals, because like since like these kind of plays are not like or like these wins are in no means like deterministic. There's like you said before, there's some element of like luck and like shuffle luck involved, that everyone who's made it this far is like quite good at Dominion.
Sure, yeah. Shuffle luck is huge, and any individual player has like more than a 60% chance of winning any given match anymore. It's just, yeah.
Yeah,
We're at that point in the tournament.
yeah. So, what do you enjoy doing in your spare time? So outside of Dominion.
Besides Dominion, I work, so I wouldn't say I enjoy it, but that is definitely what occupies most of my spare time. But work is work. I like running's my main sort of hobby outside of work, along with Dominion. And I've previously competed in other video games. Smash is a big one. Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Hmm.
That's part of why my username is what it is.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So
a
it's the
fan.
Mario from like
It is. It is from
Nintendo.
It is Mario from Nintendo. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Um, that's when I find time to do other things, I try and travel a bit, and but there's not a lot of time for me anymore.
Yeah, time is definitely like
The
precious.
essence. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And we're all spending it playing Dominion.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'm not sure if like Dominion is the best use of like my free time. But
Maybe
it's,
not,
yeah, it
but it's
may
fun.
not,
So
but it's
you
fun
need some
still.
hobbies. Yeah, you need a hobby that you can just relax and play. You don't not everything has to be super meaningful.
Yeah.
So
So I have one last question for you, and that's what advice do you have for Dominion players looking to improve at the game?
so improvement at the game. Uh, just try and have fun playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just said, it's just a hobby after all. None of us are professional Dominion players, right? So if you treat it if you take it too seriously, if you take your results too seriously,
Mm-hmm.
a bad mindset, and you might again if you take it records and say, oh, like I have a losing streak, then it might discourage you from playing more. And honestly, if you want to get better, you just need to play a lot, view a lot of other people, watch other people play, and just think about the game. And to do all that, you want to have the right mentality, which is to say you want to approach the game with and a willingness to admit that maybe you played poorly one game, but that doesn't reflect on you as a player. It's just everyone plays sometimes, and sometimes you get lucky, right? You like your opponent builds a better deck than you, and you just happen to win.
Right.
Take it all in context, right? Because there's part of Dominion that if you look very narrowly at your recent results, then it'll really cloud your mindset. Like maybe you might be on a winning streak or a losing streak, but it doesn't have to mean anything.
Yeah.
Term variance.
Yeah, and I like thinking of it. I think in my interview with Freaky, he had mentioned that like you kind of sometimes have to treat it as poker, and then like the short-term results don't really matter. And professional poker players never look at like one single game of poker. It's always looking
Yeah.
at like a year's worth of like results and like your average winnings over a year, rather than like a single game. Because yeah, there's definitely RNG involved.
Yeah. I do play poker as well, so you have to play like tens of thousands of hands or log so many hours before you actually have meaningful data to look at. And so never just look at one tournament or one league season as an indication of your ability as a player, because we all have it in ourselves to improve. You just don't want a short-term mindset that will discourage you from getting to a point of being able to improve more.
Mm-hmm. Well, cool. So thanks so much for doing this interview. I think you're
Thank you.
facing you're facing Freaky next. So best of luck in your
Yes,
game and have
I'll
fun.
need some luck. Yes, thank you very much.
Well, yeah, thanks.